So, I'm making this video in regards to a sort of um, impatience, but also reflective way of looking at the at FIFA 20. Um, I have very few videos out, but in the first few that I made, I always reference or compare FIFA 20 to Winning 11-8, or in other words, PES 4, as it was also called. Now, in my opinion, that game was really like the best one out of all. So, not not for too many specific reasons or because it was more accustomed to the way I play soccer games, but it was because of the fact that it was such a genuine, essential, and elemental way of going about the game that they had at that time. And this was back in 2004, where the the gameplay was so good, it was so responsive. Now, granted, it wasn't an online game, unfortunately, because the next edition of that game, Winning 11-8, which of course they call Winning 11-9, it came out. The graphics were a whole lot better. A few new, customizable things like soccer cleats and or soccer boots, whatever they're called. Jerseys, font sizes, font styles, and stuff. It was all different and new and upgraded. But the huge downside, which is the most important thing of any game, is gameplay. It was completely much slower, uh, completely different from the Winning 11-8 or even Winning 11-7. Because Winning 11-7 was also a good game, but then they upped it. They went to another level with Winning 11-9. But then Winning 11-8. But then Winning 11-9, it just went downhill in that regards. Now, the benefit of that game was that you could play online. So that was like a compensation that I'm sure they took into account, but it's not enough. I still prefer to play offline, or with other people. So, with that being said, I've always thought that the template for any soccer game had to be the Winning 11-8 base foundation that they have, because whatever coding or whatever kind of algorithms, or I don't even know what they call it, that they implemented for that game, and again, it didn't require patches, so when they sent out the game to be purchased, it was a good product. And again, that game was so much fun. It was something that when I compared to, you know, when I got back to FIFA 17, I was like, oh, if they could just grab the gameplay from Winning 11-8 and put it into this, then we'd be fine. We'd all be fine, right? And the people who play good are going to play better. And the people that can't play as good as the others, they're going to learn. Because that game allowed you to learn and say, oh shit, I should have done this, I should have done that, whatever. Now, again, my intention is to try to contact somebody from EA. Yeah, I have better luck, winning the lotto. Uh, but that's my intention, or at least to contact somebody and say, look, you guys really need to look into the gameplay, and you need to look at this particular game. I'll even bring a PS2. I'm gonna purchase one. I'm gonna see if I can upload some gameplay videos so I can truly compare it, because my words may not mean too much unless it's somebody listening and saying, oh yeah, like I played that game and I know how it is. That is the best game without a doubt. People say FIFA 14, 15, 12, whatever, okay? Yeah, the gameplay was good, but up to a certain point. There were still things about the game that are not good. The fact that I have to, when I dribble, without doing trick moves, I'm just talking about left analog stick. The fact that I have to subtly move the controller, 90 degrees to the left, to the right, um, or yeah, just like those kinds of things. Or if I want to take, as Inception says, an intricate touch here and there, like very subtle to the like a northwest or northeast dribble or whatever, like a diagonal dribble. Um, in this game, you have to move the analog stick subtly. In other games that I played, not even to compare to Winning 11-8, winning FIFA 2006, 2007, you can move the player, all right, and you just push the left analog stick like you would in a race car game. You just push the analog stick forward. But here, no, it's a completely different thing. The passing, there shouldn't be um any power bar for the short passes and the through passes. Okay, because that's what it was in winning 11-8, and it was so convenient. You can make a pass along the wing and it would be okay, it makes sense, and you just continue forward. The only thing you had to focus on in winning 11-8 was just playing good and making the right decisions. That's it. That's all you had to do. Because dribbling wise, you had Cristiano Ronaldo. He was like 19, so he was nothing compared to what we know him to be now, which is a remarkable player. But his dribbling stats were very good still. And even though the short pass, let's say he had a 70 or 72 for short passing, it was still good. It made sense. The give and goes, they were quick and responsive. Maybe that's one of the things they need to get rid of in the FIFA games. They need to get rid of all these animations, right? That slow down the player because they have to they have to perform those moves. They have to perform the animations. So you could still have animations there, but you need to make the players all more generic. Yeah, maybe some players like Messi and Ronaldo, you tweak them a little bit because they do have a particular way of running, but still make the game generic, like more on a level playing field in terms of responsiveness. Because when the servers or whatever other elements are in the game that fuck up everything as you're playing, at least you can rely on, okay, well, there's a consistency in the actual gameplay, the foundation of the gameplay. Now, there is something there in FIFA 20. There is something there. You feel it. That's how gamers know. Because the ones that may feel it but say, you know what, no, the game is fine for me, are the ones that it benefits more, or that they think, they truly believe that they're playing a very good game. And that's not true. Okay? Granted, I didn't play FIFA 14 or 15, and I tried playing 14, I think, and it didn't feel that great to me either way. But, maybe under different circumstances, I would have said, okay, well, it's not bad compared to other games. So far, out of all the FIFA editions that I played, so I played from FIFA 12, right? So I played FIFA 10, 11, and 12. I stopped because I said the gameplay is not good for me, and I dedicated myself to playing Winning 11-8, and it was so much more fun. And plus the players you had to use, like Ronaldinho's an icon now. In 2004, he was 23, 24 years old. I had Zidane. You could play with R9, the Galacticos, because it was 2004. So you had all the players from that roster year. Messi was in the game, but he was 17. So, but regardless, so again, the point of this video is just to mention that Winning 11-8 specifically, or Pro Evolution Soccer 4, is by far the best game ever, without a doubt. And anybody can argue that with me or whatever. You can leave comments if you like, if you have a different opinion, and that's cool. It's just the fact that gameplay wise, responsiveness, the pace of the game, you could even slow down the pace if you wanted to, or you could up the pace. But if you left that normal, it was still quick, it was still fun and responsive. And again, granted, it was offline because there was no internet connection within the game because they didn't come out with that yet until Winning 11-9. But still, even if it was online, you could have still relied on the shit. The finishing was perfect. 1-on-1, forget about it. I did like 3 chip shots with R9 a bunch of times. I even did it with Carlos Tevez. I did it with Martin Palermo, for those that are Boca Juniors fans or Argentinians, or just know about this player in particular. I scored all kinds of goals. Free kicks made a lot more sense. There was skill dribbling, like the strafe dribbling that they call it now, but it's basically the L2R2. FIFA guys, if you happen to see this fucking video, you need to change it back to FIFA 18 at least. At least. Because now you made the L2R2 the close control, which is still not responsive. Okay? You make the timing of how the players receive the ball or how they dribble a timed situation. Like, oh, there, I just adjusted the camera. I realized that you had to wait, you had to see when the ball was going to touch the foot of the player in order to take a quick, dribble or whatever, and that shouldn't be the case. Passing, I realized that once the ball gets to the player, that's when you press the X button to do a give and go. You shouldn't have to do that. Okay? You should not have to do that. It's not all about just a timing situation, and that's the problem that people are having like me. So I'm hoping that somebody watches this video. I'm hoping that Inception and all these other, people watch it and truly take an interest in this particular game because it's really good. And hopefully the last thing, because I'm at the 10-minute mark, but I've mentioned in the other videos as well, where they introduced custom tactics. They introduced a few more instructions that you can give to the players during the games, during the matches. The fact is that in Winning 11-8, that game already had that stuff. You could have, and plus the formation selections were awesome. Like, let's say you had the 4-3-3 formation. So you have the two wingers, strikers, the three midfielders, with one being a number 5, defensive midfielder, and then of course the back line. So you could literally individually pick each position, and let's say the left center midfielder, you can push him all the way to the left, to the top left, and then it would ask you, oh, do you want to make him into a left forward, a left winger, or a striker, whatever zone that you put him in, you were able to change it. You could literally have 2 defenders in the back line, and you can have 6 midfielders, you could have 4 attackers, whatever you wanted. And the instructions too, you could ask your winger, you gave him 2 instructions. You would say, okay, either, like, you can tell him, okay, on certain runs I want you to go overlapping, and then in other moments I want you to do an inverted run. Or you could have your striker go forward but also come back. So you could choose these things individually. You can put a bunch of things, but I never even touched that because of the fact that the gameplay was so good that I could pick any particular team and I would still feel happy in playing it. Okay? And yes, you had players like, let's say, Pepe, if he was there during that time. Or you had players like Cannavaro or Walter Samuel, right? Just to name a few that are coming off the top of my head. When you dribble with them, yeah, they were gonna feel slower, but the ball was still close enough to the feet that you didn't have to worry about subtly moving the left analog stick forwards, then making a clockwise turn and a counterclockwise turn. All these things. Passing, it still made sense. Okay? If you faked the goalkeeper, his animation was he would just, fall to the ground, like the animation that's accepted, and then from there you would just push the ball into the goal. The dribbling was perfect. So it's all these things that I mentioned in this video. I hope somebody listens to it and watches this and just gives an opinion and can spread it out, and hopefully it does influence something, some kind of thought or some other aspect. I'm also hoping that this video is going to come out with audio because this is the first time I'm doing it on my phone. But yeah, so I'll see if I can get the PS2, hook it up, and then play some games and then upload some videos because it's definitely going to be something worth watching. And plus, all the legendary players that you can think of, Garincha, Zico, that I'm surprised they haven't put him in there because imagine Zico and Socrates, right? That's awesome. Pele, Tostao, Falcao, then you have Eusebio, Luis Figo was still in Real Madrid, Rui Costa was in Milan. All these players, that is definitely, in my opinion, the best game ever. Please check out the game and check out some more videos. I'll see if I can upload it, but with school and stuff, it's a little tough. But yeah, take care, guys.